Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. It's 12:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this Thursday, July the 29th, 2021. My name's Dave Mcrae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And this is episode 195 of Mcrae Live. All Q&A today. I may have to bow out a little earlier today than usual. Nonetheless, let's see if we can get this on the, let's see if we can get this going. That's right. Hard to believe. 195 episodes. Like I always say, 5 of them are probably worth your time. Only 5. Only 5. Let's see what you guys have to say today in this all Thursday Q&A. Any questions? Have them. Roll on in. Get them in. Get them in. Get them in. Isn't that right, Skeletor? Isn't that right? Hey, man, you stupid, incompetent boob. That's right. This is my Skeletor classic line. This is not the 80s toy. Some people have mistaken this. This looks identical to the 1980s cartoon. If you were a young boy growing up through the 1980s, and that thumbnail today is of me in about 1983 or 4, somewhere around there. I was probably about 5, maybe, when that photo was taken. And of course, as you can see, I have my hand on Castle Grayskull. It was Christmas morning and I was all fucking excited, very proud. If you look at that photo of me, I am very, very proud. And the toys you got in the 1980s were great. There was nothing wrong with them. They were more like this, you know, kind of like, you know, they were just as tall as they were wide. And they sort of, you know, they did the trick. It's not that they didn't look anything like their animation counterparts, but certainly a few years ago, they released a Masters of the Universe classic line, and this is part of that classic line. So this is not from the 80s. This is, I purchased this off eBay, and they made a classic line a few years ago that looks exactly like like that is literally what he looks like in the cartoon. If you look at the 1980s toy, you can tell it's Skeletor, but he doesn't look identical to the way he looks in the cartoon. No, this is literally what he looks like. This is literally what he looks like. I was really going for the emphasis. Literally what he looks like. Everybody now. Literally what he looks like. That's what he looks like. There's a compilation on YouTube of Skeletor's best insults, and I think boob is in there about 4 or 5 times. It's great. It's great. Justin Goddard says, Dave, my coworker and I were talking about the phasing out of physical media. How do you feel about physical media becoming a niche market? Do you feel anything is lost in the in this cultural shift? Well, you know, it's, yes, you know, there's part nostalgia and there's part, I do think there is something lost. Look, I mean, you know, to move everything digitally, the practicality of it makes sense. You know, I mean, we're all on our phones anyway. And you know, it's funny. I was thinking the other day as I was scrolling my phone, I still haven't got my new phone yet. I want to get the Galaxy S21 Ultra. I'm still rocking the S9 Plus from 3 years ago. It's a great phone. But I'm due for an upgrade. I'm sort of at a point where, you know, it's, how do I say this? So I was going to say something else and related to that, but then I was like, maybe that's not relevant. To answer your question, yes, I do think something is lost. And, but sometimes depending on your generation, you look through rose-colored glasses, and like every generation has that kind of thing, right? Do you know what I mean? I mean, there was definitely, you know, a generation that when we went from vinyl to CD, it was like, you know, and it's just the next phase in that. The practicality of making everything digital makes sense. It makes perfect sense, 100%. We're all digital anyway. I mean, eventually there will be no paper money. And I know there's conspiratorial shit around that, but just the practicality of it as well. Eventually, probably in our lifetime, absolutely, paper money will be gone. There's no need for it. Like, there literally is no need for it anymore. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying I think it's a reality. And I think, you know, for me, I mean, I'm 42 years old, right? So I grew up through a generation that was on the tail end of vinyl, although I do remember vinyl very, very well. My dad had, I don't know how many 45s in his fucking closet and stuff, and I used to play vinyl all the time. I remember rocking out. I had a friend of mine when I was like about the age I am on the thumbnail who lived across the street from me. Her name was Lisa Schock. And shout out to Lisa if she's watching. She's married now with kids. And she was like one of my best friends who lived across the street from me. And she was a year older than me. And she always used to be like, she always used to say things like, you know, I'm in charge of you because I'm a year older than you. So I'm the boss, you know, shit like that. Shit kids say. It's so hilarious, right? She was a year older. Anyway, so, you know, I remember we used to rock out in my living room, dancing around my living room, rocking out to the Footloose soundtrack on vinyl. I kid you not. We had it playing. We had Footloose. We had that hero song, gonna be a hero, na, 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 na. You know that one from the, it's fucking, we used to dance around and shit. It was great. You know, and that was on vinyl. And of course, you know, then came the CDs, and then of course, you know, MP3s, and, you know, VHS to DVDs to Blu-rays, and, you know, here we are. I guess, you know, in a roundabout way, I know I'm going off on one of my tangents, but I think we do lose something. I mean, the tangibility, if that's even a word, of having something, for me, and I only speak for myself, I still collect physical media. I actually do not own, I mean, I have, because physical media now will come with like a digital code, right? There have been a couple of movies that I've used the digital code for. So, but I swear I have not watched them digitally at all. I'm a physical media person. Now, part of that could be nostalgia for sure, because it's how I grew up. I'm used to going to the store and buying the DVD or the VHS or, you know, whatever the case is. But I also really like having, like, owning it, because one of the things that I found incredibly annoying about Netflix is that, and this is changing now that we have more streaming services coming down the pipe, or that are here. But one of the things I found really annoying about Netflix is that a movie, and it's still, you know, a movie will be on there and then 6 months later, you know, it'll be gone, right? It's like, fuck, like, you know, and if you own the movie, you have it forever. And if you own the movie, you own the movie. It's not going anywhere. So I don't know. I mean, it's, yeah. The nostalgia of it. Certainly, I like the physical media. I like being able to own the box and the box art and the back of the box and the Blu-ray or the DVD, or fuck, I still have all my VHS tapes. I do like physical media, but we cannot pretend that a lot of that isn't nostalgia either, right? We're emotionally attached to that. We're used to that. That's how we grew up. Practically, with the way the world's going and how the world is, it makes much more logical sense to throw everything online. I mean, that's where we are. The point I was going to make earlier about my phone is that I was scrolling Facebook, I guess, a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh my God, this is like social media, and that is the oasis. I mean, it is not an evolved version of it, but when you watch Ready Player One, you know, and that's obviously a evolved version of likely where we're going. And, you know, you put the headset on and you're in this other fucking world, but this is the beginnings of it. Like, this is really the beginnings of it. When we start scrolling social media, or even you guys watching me now, we are in the oasis here. It's a very sort of beginning version of that. You check in, and in a lot of cases you check out, you know, and you're on your phone and you're locked in, and people are zombies and they're walking around and they're like this. It's not the real world. It's fucking fake. It's not the real world. It's almost becoming the real world. But in a lot of cases, if you put your phone down and you sit on a park bench without anything, that's reality. That's the real world, right? You hear the birds, you look around, you see the sun's beating down in your face, you know, but then in. You know, what do? We lock in again, and we're scrolling, and who's saying what, and we're totally in. We're locked in. It is like it's a fucking, instead of doing this with VR, this is the fucking early stages of what that will become. And I know VR exists already, but in terms of the Oasis in Ready Player One, we're not quite there yet, but that's where we're going. 100%, that's where we're going. And so there's this whole kind of like, it makes sense from a practical standpoint. If everything is going there, then there's no need for anything physical anymore. And there's no need for it. So like, I get it practically, but there is that, I like being able to own something, to see it on a shelf, to see the cover art, to be able to open the box, take it out and put it in. I feel like I really do own it. There's nothing romantic about having a digital light. Like, maybe if they were to entice guys like me who are just very caught up in their old ways, maybe, and I don't know if they do this, but to purchase a film digitally, maybe you could have like, do they have things where you can buy movies digitally, but you can like organize your own library? Like, you can like, I don't know, put in backgrounds and organize shit and have like movies pop up and like create different things for your lot. Like, is there something, is it hands-on, or is it just that you buy the movie digitally and it's just there and you just access it, you click on it when you want to watch it? And I don't know, there's something about having a digital library that just feels shallow and hollow to me. It's just kind of, I don't know, there's some I love about having something on a shelf, and you've always got it. You've always got it. So if a streaming service gets rid of it, or if they alter it because of this new culture we're in now, we got to take out, Daryl Hannah's ass because people are complaining. I'd be like, well, you know what? I'm going to fucking watch Splash and look at Daryl Hannah, her ass all fucking day. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe that's sort of, I don't know. So I do like the tangibility of having real stuff. I'm a stuff person. I probably have too much stuff in my place. I probably could get rid of some of my stuff. So there is that aspect. There's something to be said about having something physical. You own it. You can watch it whatever you want. You have the original copy. It's not altered. But then if it wears out, there's that aspect. A digital copy is not likely to wear out. I mean, because it's digital. But if you purchase a digital copy and you do own it, and it's an original piece, then that might be something. But if you're relying solely on streaming services, Paramount Plus, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, like if you're relying solely on streaming services, you own nothing. You just have a subscription, and they can do whatever the fuck they want, and you have no say at all. And if they want to change something, alter something, they'll do it, and they don't give a fuck what you think. There's something to be said about having something physical. Anyways, I've gone on a huge tangent here, but that's kind of how I feel. It was a great question. But that's how I feel about it. I'm a physical media guy for those reasons. It's not that eventually I'll be forced to go digital because physical media just won't exist, or it will exist, but it will be, yeah, it'll be what it is. It'll be what it is. But I'm definitely a physical media person for sure. Julian Salgado sends in $5 and says, "Hey Dave, it's my little sister's B-Day. Can she please get a shout out? Her name is Jasmine. Love your channel and look forward to every video." Well, happy birthday to Jasmine. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jasmine. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jasmine. Have an amazing day. Stay safe out there. And however old you are, embrace it, rock it, and be amazing because we know you are amazing. And thank you very much, Julian, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Robert Thidoff says, Dave, do you feel the days of 22 episodes of TV series are gone, even with network TV, because of more concerns of production costs and quality over quantity? I think so. I don't watch network television that much anymore, Robert, and so I don't really know what are they doing. Is network TV still doing like 24 episodes a season? I mean, obviously that's not what streaming is doing. They are doing, anywhere between 8 and 10 episodes a season because that keeps the production costs down. But also too, in a lot of cases, no, that's not true. There are some half-hour shows on Netflix that still only have like 10 episodes a season. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see them go back. I mean, maybe, but there would have to be like a narrative reason for it. There'd have to be something. I don't think we're going to ever see on streaming necessarily. 22 episode season. I don't think so. That was very sitcom. Oh, not just sitcom, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see it. I don't think we're going to see it. Answer your question, no, I don't think we're going to see it. I think they will continue to ride 10 to 12 episode, 8 to 12 episode seasons. And if you're Masters of the Universe, well, that's just the first half of the first season, though. It's 5 episodes. The horror counselor says physical copies are like us. They start out fresh, then as years go on, they slowly but surely become withered. And if you keep care of it, they stay in good shape. It's good similarities. There's a lot of analogies you could draw to that. I mean, I like physical media. I do. I like, especially back in the day. I mean, nowadays, when you buy a Blu-ray or something on 4K, I mean, it depends. If it's special edition or steel case or something, you might be able to get a few more bells and whistles. And I mean, in terms of like packaging, but I remember when DVDs, like just a regular DVD, you'd get maybe like a booklet with it. You get like a fucking sleeve, and it wasn't even like a special edition, but they've cheaped out. Like, I mean, there was that time when, and I've mentioned this before, when I'd go buy a DVD and let's say I bought a DVD of, Lethal Weapon, let's say, okay? And I would buy it, and it felt like, very light, and you'd buy it. It's Lethal Weapon. And you open it up, and on the inside, on the left side, right? So you open it up, and on the inside, there was no sleeve. There was nothing there, but there was the big recycling logo to let you know that this plastic was reused. And it's like, okay, that's an eyesore, okay? And then you look at the DVD, and it's just a plain silver DVD. There's no, like, art on the DVD. Like, it literally got that bad. That's towards the end of, and I know they still sell DVDs, but towards the end of the DVD dominated market, and when HD DVD and Blu-ray started to really come in at about what, 06, 07, somewhere around there. DVD started to do that. I was like, well, it's like they gave up. Who fucking cares? Nobody cares. Someone's gonna be buying us anyway, so we'll just half-ass this shit. It was awful. I have some DVDs that are like that. I'm like, this is so half-ass. Like, it literally looks like a burned. It's not, but it literally looked like a burned DVD in just like some random case, And it's like, it looks so, and I paid like, $6.99 for it. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? And it didn't used to be like that. And I find that the Blu-rays are starting to do that too, right? Because they're phasing out now too a bit. Even physical media in general. I picked up a couple of 4Ks where the packaging was pretty weak. I'm like, that's it? I haven't seen the recycling sign yet on a 4K, but I'm sure it's coming. But I picked up a couple of 4Ks where I undo the packaging, I open it up, and I'm like, this is really lame. Like, this is like, they're really starting to, but if you buy like a steel book or like some special edition or anniversary, they tend to have more. A booklet, or, they put a little more effort into the packaging and whatnot. But I love that. It's the same reason why, again, I mean, I was a young boy growing up through the 1980s, so I do remember vinyl, obviously. I never went to the store and bought my own vinyl because I was a little young to care to do that. But I definitely played my parents' vinyl and all that kind of shit. Because by the time I became, by the time I was like 11 or 12, CDs were already starting to come in. So if I was going to go to the store and buy something, I wouldn't buy vinyl. I'd buy probably a CD. But certainly I played vinyl like it was nobody's business. And there's something to be said about vinyl. And, you can smell it, and it's the record, and you open it up, and you got all the fucking, all the trivia on the band, and you take it out, and there's maybe like a booklet or a sheet, whatever. And CDs used to be like that too. you feel like it almost feels like you've got your money's worth, and there's trivia and, you learn about it and shit. I miss that stuff. That stuff I love. That stuff you don't get with digital copies. You just get the fucking movie. And way back in the day, when DVDs first came out, their special features were amazing. Now, special features tend to be dog shit. You know what I mean? Anyway, I could go on and on, but yeah, it's crazy stuff. Let's see here. Unimpressive Media says, Dave, over here in Ireland, we still heavily promote DVDs. Blu-rays can be in very short supply in some of our retail outlets. Strange, but still kind of humble in a way. I think that's amazing. That's really cool. I think that's great that you guys promote DVDs heavily. We still have them here. They're still here. But generally what they've done, I'm sure they've done that over there too, maybe not, is over here they've combined it all, right? So to entice you to buy 4K, what 4Ks will come with, it will come with the 4K version, the Blu-ray version, sometimes a DVD version, but definitely you'll get like a 4K, a Blu-ray, and a digital copy, right? So that entices you to like, and of course, if you buy the 4K, it's more expensive. So, but you get the Blu-ray and the digital, right? Where if you just buy the Blu-ray, you just get the Blu-ray and the digital. So they're always upselling in that sense of they want you to buy the 4K, and they're like, well, why wouldn't you buy the 4K when you get all three? And whereas if you just buy the DVD, you just get the fucking DVD. You don't even get a digital copy, or whatever the case is. So, but they're still here. I mean, I could go to my local Best Buy or Walmart or wherever and pick up a DVD. Like, they're still on the shelves. They're still there. They're not as prominent as they used to be, obviously, but they are still there. They're definitely still there. But yeah, I like physical media. I love, like I said, the tangibility of it, the smell, but maybe more so back in the day. Like now when I have to admit, now when I buy physical media, it's generally underwhelming. Unless it's a special edition, director's cut, steelbook, like something to where the packaging is nice and shiny and woo, comes with a book, you know what I mean? Like, but if I'm just buying a regular Blu-ray from the $5 bin at Walmart or something, it's the fucking cheapest dog shit you've ever seen in your life. And it's very uneventful, and I generally don't do that unless it's like, oh shit, I've been looking for this for so long, Let me see here. Let's scroll down. Did I miss any? I don't think I missed any other super chats, right? Just the one that came in. Oh, one came in here. Oh, a couple came in here. Movie Chat and More says, hi, Dave. I think It's Me, Billy is like a fine wine. It just gets better with age. Can't wait for the sequel. Have you watched Dead End yet? I have not watched Dead End yet. No, I have not gotten around to doing that. Thank you, Movie Chat and More. Age is like fine wine. Well, it's only been out for 2 months, so it's only 2 months old. But I appreciate the compliment, and I'm glad that you like the movie, and I'm glad that you have, I guess, apparently watched it a couple of times and have enjoyed it more with each watch. That's awesome. And the sequel, yeah, like I said, I mean, there's been no official announcement yet in terms of a sequel to It's Me, Billy. We definitely would like to do it. Obviously, we want to bookend the story. I mean, that's our goal. We'd love to do that. Bruce and I have had preliminary talks in regards to that, and so we've started very, 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 very early discussions. But our focus at the moment is also trying to get all these perks out as well. Like after the show today, I have to. After the show, I have an appointment I have to go to, and then I am heading over to get some things printed specifically for the perks. So yeah, so perks, we have to take care of that, but definitely we are having discussions, and we'd love to be able to bookend it just so the story is complete, because the story is incomplete right now, obviously, on purpose, of course. Michael Myers sends in £5. Thank you, Michael. Says, hey, Dave, what do you think about the concept of Halloween Ends taking place a few years later after Kills? I loved you and your channel. Well, Michael Myers, I have an entire video on my channel where I'm talking about that. If you go back just a couple of Mcrae lives, you will find a go to my channel and go on to my Halloween Kills playlist, and you will find a couple of videos, one specifically where I'm talking with Sean Giroux of Fandom Empire, just last week, I think it was, where we were discussing that. So, and we go, really into great detail about that. So that's what I would do if I were you, because then you'll get all the nitty gritty details of my thoughts and feelings on that. Goomba Johnny says, "Hi, Dave. Has there been any confirmation as to whether Halloween Kills will be in IMAX?" Well, there's been no confirmation, but it has not been denied either. However, probability tells us that it's low because all of the IMAX logos and promotion was removed from the Halloween Kills trailer. And, if this movie was going to be released in IMAX, the IMAX logos would have been all over that thing. And when you look at the Halloween Kills teaser they released last year, the IMAX logos were there. So it's likely because of the pandemic and what has happened that, and because, film dates and, release dates for movies have been maneuvered around. Unfortunately, an IMAX release for Halloween Kills is just not feasible. It's just not going to happen right now, because as of right now, and this could change again, but as of right now, James Bond, which is going to take up IMAX, you better believe it, releases a week before Halloween Kills, and a week after Halloween Kills, Dune releases. So right in between, and generally speaking, a movie plays in IMAX for a couple of weeks, not a week. So you're likely to see Bond play in IMAX for a couple of weeks, and then Dune will take over. So that doesn't mean that you will not be able to see Halloween Kills in a sort of, souped up theater. Like here in Canada, of course, we have IMAX, but we also have what's known as AVX, which is like in between regular and IMAX. It's like heightened experience, not quite IMAX, but a lot better than just kind of sitting in a regular theater or whatever. We have that. It's likely you'll probably see Kills do that. Maybe it's possible towards the end of the month, towards Halloween, once Dune has had, a couple of weeks, maybe it gets a limited run in IMAX. That's possible, I guess. But they're not promoting it. At least not yet, not now. So I think the probability is very slim that you will see Halloween Kills in IMAX. And it's not because they did not want to deliver it to you. It's not because that was not the intention. It's simply because the pandemic has caused all these other juggernaut, huge, gigantic blockbuster films to move into the space, And that's what's happened. Fox Scully says, "Hey Dave, what's your opinion on seasons of TV being released all at once instead of episode by episode? Do you think the cliffhangers at the end of episodes lose their punch if you can binge it all?" I don't think so. I don't think cliffhangers at the end lose their punch if you can binge it all. No, I don't think so. I think what does sort of suck is back when I was younger, if you're not old enough to remember and you've grown up in the digital age, obviously network television, you would watch one show a week. I mean, that's, what it was. And, it was like, same bat time, same bat channel. Of course, I wasn't old enough to watch this. Well, I did watch the 60s Batman and reruns, of course, but it was that kind of thing. You would watch an episode and then you would have to wait a week to watch the next episode. And depending on how many episodes there were, certainly back in the network TV days, I mean, there were like 22, 24 episodes a season. So you would be doing this over like, several months. And that kept the conversation going. It kept the excitement out there, talking with your friends or, whatever the case is. It kept the shows relevant for longer in a lot of cases. When they release shows today all at once, and they're much less in terms of volume, like it's, 10 episodes, for example, say they release, and this does happen, pick your show, but say Stranger Things, right? They release season 4, and this happened with 3 and 2 and 1. Well, maybe not 1. 1 lasted a bit longer because of the sort of the nostalgia of it all. But once the novelty wears off, you run into this problem, and So they release Stranger Things season 4, let's say it's 10 episodes all at once, right? And Stranger Things season 4 then becomes really relevant in the hot topic, the hot button topic of the day for like a week. And then it's gone because everybody has seen it. Everybody binged it. Everybody watched it, and then it's fucking gone and nobody gives a shit anymore, And certainly after a couple of weeks, nobody cares anymore. Now that doesn't mean it's not. Again, I'm speaking generally, right? I'm talking about sort of its effect in the current sort of climate of what's hot and what's not in entertainment. It comes and goes very, very fast. Whereas if you were to release, Stranger Things season 4, I know to the chagrin of people who just don't know how to be patient. But if you did it over like, say, a couple of months, it keeps it relevant for longer, and it keeps people talking about it and getting excited about the next episode. And they did that with The Mandalorian. Now I think season 2 they released all at. Did they release? No, I think they've been consistent. I know with season 1 of The Mandalorian they released one a week. I think it was over the course of like 2 months, or it was something like that. And that kept The Mandalorian relevant for 2 months. If they had released The Mandalorian all in one shot, it would be relevant for a week and nobody would give a shit afterwards. So I think there is, in terms of that, like certainly being able to binge has its advantages and has its disadvantages, right? Just like anything. Certainly having everything all at once is amazing and you can sit down and watch it all at once. I don't think it takes away from the cliffhanger. Because once there's a cliffhanger, you still know that, oh shit, I can't just jump into the next one and watch it. Unless, of course, you're tuning in late and you're watching, the first 4 seasons, like, you know what I mean? Then you can move on to the next. But if you are caught up and you're watching all the seasons as is, then you still have to wait, for the next season and maybe even a year or two. So yeah, I mean, it's got its pros and it's got its cons. I think the biggest con is just there's all this buildup. There's this buildup, and then it comes and goes so fast. It's building and building and building and building, and then it's done inside of a week, 2 weeks. Nobody's talking about it anymore because it's all there to consume. I kind of like the idea of being able to. There's a week buildup for every episode. There's this, it's highly anticipated for every episode in terms of like, you watch it and then you get to talk with your friends and all that kind of shit. And, it would be interesting to see what that would be like in today's day and age in terms of, and look, I don't know if I don't watch a lot of television, so I don't know if every show does that. Maybe there are some shows that still do the week thing. I don't know. But definitely shows that do give it to you all at once. There's pros and cons to it. But those are my thoughts. Brandon Barry sends in $4.99, says, Dave, are you excited for the Sopranos prequel, The Many Saints of Newark? No, I can't say that I am. I've never watched The Sopranos. I know about The Sopranos. I know what The Sopranos are. It's not that I don't know Dave, you gotta watch this. No, I just never watched The Sopranos, which is ironic because one of my big first network promo gigs was for a network here in Toronto called TLN, Tele Latino. Now, I'm not Latin or Italian, but they had a very strong English content as well. And they hired me in 2006, I believe it was. I was their promo voice for about 3 years, their English promo voice for about 3 years, from 06 to 09. And one of the reasons they hired me, I should show you an old TLN ad because I have them somewhere. They hired me to do all of their Sopranos ads because I think TLN was one of the first networks in Canada to get The Sopranos in syndication, if I'm not mistaken. So they hired me to do that, and that was a lot of fun. So I've seen, and I know what The Sopranos are. I mean, you'd have to be, living under a rock not to know what The Sopranos are. But I've never watched them, and so I can't say that I'm excited. But for all of you Sopranos fans out there who are excited, there you go. Juan Rivera says, I've been meaning to ask you something. Not too long ago when the Halloween Kills trailer leaked, you as myself got upset about people leaking it. You read the leaked script. Is that not the same, spoiling it for yourself? Well, no, see, it all depends, right? Me reading what made me upset about the Halloween Kills trailer leaking is the principle of it, right? So first of all, it's illegal to do what they did. You can't do that. You cannot, a theater manager cannot. Now, what sort of repercussions, if any, would have been done is, it could be something as being fired or a fine or whatever, to nothing being done. But it's illegal to do that. And the problem is that when you, what my issue was that you are a theater manager and you're in a position with a certain level of power and responsibility. It is your responsibility to not leak that. When that comes in, it is your responsibility to make sure that goes out on July 1st, which was the intended date. And, to make sure that it doesn't leak early. That's your responsibility as a theater manager. That's what you're supposed to do. That's your job, part of your job. And if you are to secretly breach that and leak it early to the masses, that's illegal. You can't do that. And when it is leaked early, it is leaked to the masses. Nobody then, you are then, like when I read the Halloween Kills script, it's not affecting you. It's not affecting you. It's not affecting those who don't want to know about it, because in case you haven't noticed, I don't talk about it on here. I don't talk about it, right? It's just me. The only person that it would affect would be me, right? And when I'm reading a page, reading a script is very different than seeing a leaked version of a trailer not in its intended format. That's another thing that I think was unfortunate, because what's happening is the theater manager or his cronies, his buddies, are shooting the screen on their phone. So they take their phone, they're shooting the movie screen in the theater. So you're not even seeing it in its intended quality. You're not even seeing it in all its, 1080p or 4K glory. You're seeing a dog shit version of the trailer. That's not how they saw it. The theater manager and his buddies got to see it on the big screen, but they're shooting the screen and showing you like this, 480p version. And it's, it's weird. And, the guys are going like this, and it's, and the sound is shit. And they're like, here you go. Isn't this great? So you're not even seeing it in its intended format. You're seeing a really shitty version of it. Now, look, there are a lot of people out there that don't care, that just don't care. And I couldn't give a fuck that you don't care about what I care about. Like, there are a lot of people that thought I was overreacting, and that's fine. You're entitled to think that. But I'm looking at it through, a bit of a different lens than the average person. And, it did bother me because it's the principle of it. You're releasing it to the masses, not a leaked copy of the trailer in all its glory, which would be wrong, but you're not doing that. You're leaking a bootlegged version shot on your phone like it's 1996. It's like, I don't want my first, and neither does Universal, want your first impression of this movie to be on a 480p leaked version with half the heads cut off. That's not what they want, right? So it's the principle of it. Reading a script on my own in the comfort of my own home doesn't affect you, and I'm not, so it doesn't, it's not really the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Now, in terms of spoiling, everybody has a different threshold to what a spoiler is and isn't, right? What is a spoiler to you is not necessarily a spoiler to me. I've always been somebody, And there's a number of factors of why this could be. There's a number of factors why. But I've always been somebody that I can know what's going to happen in a movie and it doesn't spoil it for me. Now, unless it's something integral that changes the fundamental foundation of everything we thought we knew, do you know what I mean? Like Luke, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. That's something that's major. And that's something that I think we all maybe would not want to know ahead of time. Do you know what I mean? Because it changes everything. It changes everything you thought you knew about what was going on. It's one of the greatest twists in cinematic history. It's like, oh my God, right? Knowing that Michael walks into a room and kills, so-and-so doesn't, okay. We know there's going to be killing. We know that maybe even some people we know are going to get killed. It doesn't, there's nothing... For me, I'm talking, but it's the threshold. There are people in this world that just knowing that Michael has brown shoes is a spoiler. Knowing that Michael walks from A to B, he walks from A to B. Ah, shit, spoiler. I mean, it's just there's so the threshold of what is and isn't a spoiler for so many different people varies so greatly. So, I can read something or know something of what's going to happen. It doesn't spoil anything for me because reading something on a page is very different than watching it executed on the screen. I can still enjoy the journey of watching Halloween Kills play out on the screen because it can either be better or worse than what I've read. And so it can be very different in that sense. But there are some people, maybe like yourself, that can't do that. And that's fair. It's all individual, right? Just because I know a great deal of what's going to happen doesn't spoil it. It really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. And there's a variety of reasons for that. But for some people out there, it does. Knowing just that the movie opens, and I'm not saying it does, but let's hypothetically say the movie opens with a Halloween 2 style pumpkin. I'm not saying it does because that information isn't in the script, right? But let's say it does, hypothetically, right? Me knowing that doesn't spoil anything. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Like it doesn't, I don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care. But for some people, it'd be like, no, I can't. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I feel about that. It's not really a spoiler for me to know what happens. And the two, leaking a trailer illegally, a dog shit version of that trailer when you are a theater manager in a position where you're not supposed to be doing that, that's very different. Very, very different. That's what upset me about it, is that I just think that it's, you're a manager, dude. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? You're supposed to be the gatekeeper of this kind of shit. For some people don't care, right? There's a certain section of the population out there that doesn't care. Gimme. I don't care. Yeah, theater manager leaked it. Rock on. Good for you, theater manager. You're awesome because I get to watch it. Yeah. There are people that are like that. They don't care. It's just gimme. They do not care. And they think me making a point about how that's kind of shitty and I wouldn't have done that. And now everybody, their first, time seeing the trailer is this dog shit 480p heads cut off version. There are people that don't care. I don't care if I have to see it in a really shitty version with their heads cut off. I just want to see it. There are people that are like that, but I'm not like that. I would not want your first time seeing the It's Me, Billy trailer to be some god-awful version with their head. No studio would want that. I'm not a studio. I'm just saying it's the principle of it, right? Anyways, so I disagree that it's the same. I don't believe it's the same at all. Me reading the script early doesn't affect you, doesn't affect anybody, unless I'm jumping online and spoiling it all for you. Then that's a shitty thing to do. But I haven't done that. The theater manager, no doubt, could have watched the trailer himself. Everybody does. You tell it. If I was a theater manager, sure, I would have watched it. I would have put it on the big screen and watched that fucking thing. But you don't share it. That's the problem. That's the difference. In my opinion, anyway. But thank you very much for the question, Juan. Appreciate that. Did I miss any super chats? I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Oh, no. Juan Rivera sends in $5, says, love the honest answer. Just sad nothing can come as elements of surprise anymore these days. It's all I want to say. No, now mentally. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. If it's true. I mean, look, it's the age of the internet. And unfortunately, when you are working in the entertainment industry and the film industry, I mean, these kinds of people, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't care, man. You think I fucking care? I don't care. Here. Those kinds of people are not just stupid fans. Those kinds of people work in the film industry too. I'm not saying it's rampant with that, but, it's not leaking from the director. It's not leaking from, the producer. It's not leaking from people that are trying to make the best movie possible. It's generally speaking, doesn't mean there aren't people that don't do this, but generally speaking, it's being leaked by, one of the grips or one of the PAs or, somebody that happens to get something on something, or they see something and they shuffle it over here. And that it generally speaking is probably lower level crew that are able somehow to get their hands on something or get insight into something or information on something, and they leak that shit. It's not fucking David Gordon Green going, here, can you fucking leak this a little bit? He's not doing that. You know what I mean? It's not coming from that. It's coming from, yeah, I would imagine, again, I'm not saying that every crew member or every grip or PA is like this, certainly not. But there is a different level of seniority and there's a different level of expectation. And certainly I could, and a lot of grips tend to be younger, and hired hands. And I could totally see that. I could totally see a grip or a PA and again, I don't want to give a bad name to PAs and grips. They are some of the most amazing, talented, hardworking fucking individuals in the film industry. Period. But every now and then you probably get some douchebag who's like, oh my God, and they go off and they fucking leak that shit. And it's like, fuck, and unfortunately, because of the internet, the ease of that, you've heard me say this, it's the ease of access of information. It's just the free flow of information is great, but it's so easy now to spread information. You literally, literally all a PA or a grip or maybe somebody else would have to do is see a script sitting on a table. And all they would have to do is take their fucking phones, which they have on them anyway, unless it is a high profile film and set where there is a rule that comes down where no phones on set. You leave them in your fucking bags, you leave them in your lockers, wherever you're shooting, your cars, your trailers, what have you. Some sets might do that, depending on how high profile the film is. But generally speaking, grips and PAs and shit, they're got their phones in their pockets. And, if they see a script sitting on a table somewhere, it's not unprecedented for one of them to go, oh, boop, and take a photo of the title or whatever, and literally just upload it. Boom, it's done. And then go, and again, I'm not saying that listen, the grips and the PAs, like I've said, are some of the hardest working professionals in the entertainment business, period. If it wasn't for these grips and PAs, you wouldn't have the fucking movies you have. I'm telling you, fucking incredible. But I think that a lot of these leaks tend to come from those types of positions. Not necessarily not the director or the DP or the producer or, the key grip or it doesn't, I just would have trouble believing that somebody in that level of a position would do, but maybe it does, right? Maybe it does. But I think it's more of a beyond that. Is my guess. But it's fucking shitty, man. It's shitty. There's just, it's very difficult. And there's all these people that I just don't understand it. Oh, I get it. I do get it. But yeah, it's fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying. Movie Chat More sends in £5, says, love the Two Dudes Jurassic Park episode. So much so, it inspired me to upgrade my Jurassic collection to Blu-ray. You guys owe me about £20. Well, that's amazing, man. Yeah, I have the Jurassic Park collection on DVD. I do not have them on Blu-ray myself. So I've always wanted to get them on Blu-ray, though. I'd like to do that. And by the way, I want to point out, do studios sometimes leak certain things? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. Sometimes the studios will leak certain things in the guise of, oh, no, it's a leak. Oh, no. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, no. Sometimes they do that because they want to garner fan reaction. They want to see what fans think of this. Sometimes that does happen. Make no mistake. It does happen. I'm not saying it happens all the time and every leak is coming from the studio and it's this, reverse psychology kind of thing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there have been examples in the past where a studio will get ahead of something, leak something in a form that, they'll leak something and pretend it's coming from, we don't know how this happened. Oh my God, whatever, right? Just to garner fan reaction to it. That sometimes happens too. Sometimes that happens. So be mindful of that as well. But usually, you can tell the difference, but yeah. Johnny T says, hi, Dave. I could be wrong, but did you notice that there was nothing about the flashbacks in the trailer? Is that done intentionally? Well, yes, there was, I don't believe there was anything about the flashbacks in the trailer. But like Christopher Nelson said on his Instagram, and I agree with him, I've also talked to, I have a couple of contacts, as you guys know, and one in particular who has seen the film. And they said the same thing. Although you do see what's perceived as a lot in the trailer, you haven't seen anything yet. Like, it literally just is the tip of the iceberg. So if you think the Halloween Kills trailer spoiled everything, it hasn't. It's nothing. It is nothing compared to what you're about to experience this October. So be satisfied with that. Yeah. Now, whether you're going to like the movie or not, or like the direction or not, or like the creative choices they made, well, that's still up for debate. Who knows, right? But in terms of what they showed in the trailer and what you're about to experience, there's still a lot of stuff you haven't seen yet. A lot of stuff. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like I said, I mean, I'm under no delusions. I just want, all I'm looking for is some balance. If they can balance it out with some stalking and with some lurking and things like that, then you know what? Go to town, make it a bloodbath, make it gory. I know it, just do it, but just have some Michael Myers moments. I don't want to walk out of the theater thinking, well, that was the best Friday the 13th movie I've seen in a while. I don't want to think that. I want to be like, okay, yeah, they amped it up. It was wild, but I got a nice stalking scene. I got a nice emerging from the shadows scene, at least have some of his MO there. That's all I'm asking. And I don't know. I have this feeling I'm going to like this movie. I do. Mason James says, Dave, if Hawkins did survive, will he have a bigger role in Ends? I can't tell you that. Frank Riker says, sex dolls looked like Stacy Nelkin, there would be no growth in population. If sex dolls looked like Stacy Nelkin, there would be... Who's Stacy Nelkin? I don't recognize the name, Frank. Who is Stacy Nelkin? Austin Travis says, but do small leaks really? I think if anything, it helps. It is free press and it gets everyone talking about your movie in some way, shape, or form. What do you think? Well, I think you're right? I mean, again, what isn't a leak, or a spoiler. It depends on the individual. It really does, And like I just said a few moments ago, for me, a spoiler is something that changes what you thought you knew. Like if in Halloween Kills you find out that Michael is actually Bob Johnson, the neighbor, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. It's like, oh my God, like that I want to experience in person. But knowing that there are kills, knowing how some of the kills, like it doesn't, the threshold, it's just not a spoiler to me. It just isn't. But like I said, maybe it's because I look at things maybe I'm just saying maybe, I don't know, maybe a bit differently. And a leak, I mean, you know, leaking the plot or leaking a log line or leaking who's in the movie, those are not leaks. You know, those are not leaks. You know, those are, I mean, unless you're trying to keep a actor hidden because at the end of that movie they show up as a surprise, well then yes, then that would be a leak that probably shouldn't have gotten out, right? Like if at the end of Halloween Kills, you know, all of a sudden, you know, there's a character that comes back from one of the OGs and it's like, oh, and you find out that that actor is in the movie before that. Yeah, that's a leak. That's kind of, that sucks. But knowing the cast in and of itself, it's not a leak, you know, and knowing, you know, there's certain information that the studios do want out there. They do, because it is marketing. It keeps it in the pop culture consciousness. It keeps you excited. They want the fans to remain. They don't want to turn off, you know, the stove. They want to have the stove on simmer, right? They want to have it really low, and then they turn it up every now and then they turn it back down, and then they turn it up every now and then they turn it back down. And then sometimes some idiot comes along and fucking puts that thing to high, and it's like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? But they never want to turn off the burner. They never want to turn it off. They always want to have it on simmer. So yeah, there are certain things that you may think is a leak, but it's not really a leak. Like cast, logline, plot. Those are not leaks. Those are not leaks. Those are deliberate, you know, things that are put out there. But listen, I've babbled on about this, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to the individual, you know, and what they perceive as a leak or not. You know, I mean, there are some people out there that would probably think that, you know, anyway, yeah, I could go on, but anyway, I think I've said my piece. Shut up, Dave, you damn rambling son of a... Cinemagic says, do you think the original Ninja Turtles movie do you like the original Ninja Turtles movie, from 1990? I think Jim Henson's studio did an amazing job on the costumes and animatronics. Did you see it in the theater? I adore the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I did see it in the movie theater when it came out. In 1990, I would have been 11. I remember, I saw it in the theater with my dad. And I always remember my dad fell asleep. He fell asleep during one of the fight scenes or something, and then he woke up again. But my dad took me to see it. I was living in Ottawa at the time, so it would have been in Ottawa. I think the first Ninja Turtles movie is really good. It's a really good movie. Became one of the highest grossing independent films of all time. I think it's a really good movie. I think Shredder is really imposing. I love Shredder's introduction. You know, and he's walking in and and you see like his shadow and everything, and it's great. It's a great introduction to a villain. One of the best introductions to a villain of all time. It's really, really good. It's a good movie. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. You know, it was fun. It was okay. They stepped it up, and obviously they had, you know, Vanilla Ice in there, and go ninja, go ninja, ninja, rap, ninja. I mean, it was sillier, definitely more self-aware, but you know, acceptable, serviceable follow-up. The third Ninja Turtles movie, I didn't like at all. I haven't seen that movie in years. And I remember, I think my sister Jill took me to see the third one. And that's when they had they changed the animatronics. They had, I think they even had teeth, if I'm not mistaken, in that one. They had like teeth in the fucking, I was like, what the fuck? It's like Batman having the nipples or something. It was just weird. It was really weird because I don't even think turtles have teeth. Do they have teeth? I don't even think they do. Anyway, it was just kind of strange. But I am a big fan of that first one. Yes, absolutely. Love that movie. I own it on, I think I have it on DVD. I don't think I have it on Blu-ray. Is it available on Blu-ray? I'm not sure, but I definitely have it on DVD. And I have it on VHS as well. I have like one of those old, like white cases that you open up like this. You kind of go like this and you open it up and whatever. And I have one of those. I think I must have bought it for like, it was definitely on the shelf, and I think maybe there was a video store that was going out of business or something, and I just bought the copy or whatever. I can't remember, but I have an old school version of it on VHS, which I absolutely love. All right, I don't think any other super chats came in as far as I know. I don't think so. Lady Claire says, what's wrong with having teeth? They never had teeth before in the first 2 movies. Yes, that's it. I mean, if you look at the Ninja Turtles, I'm pretty sure anyway. Hang on a sec here. Ninja Turtles 1990. Look at them. I'm pretty sure they didn't have teeth. Oh no, they did have teeth a little bit. They did have teeth a little bit. I was wrong. They did have teeth a little bit. That's so weird. What was it? They did have teeth a little bit. Maybe it was just the way. Yeah, they did have teeth. Just ever so slightly. They did. They did. I wonder if it was that because they were more pronounced then maybe in part 3? Ninja Turtles 1990. What was it? 4? 4 to come out in 4? No, maybe it was 3. Must have been 3 then. Yeah, it was 3. Yeah, there was just something about the way they looked in 3 in the third part. I don't know. There was something about the way they looked in 3 that just looked weirder. They looked more... I'm looking at an image right now. So I stand corrected. They did have teeth in the original. There's just something more cartoony about the way they look maybe in the third part. I got to watch it again. I just remember them looking very different. I know they have more spots on them. I know that. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. So I stand corrected, Lady Claire. I stand corrected. They did have teeth in the original, but they did have those spots, but there's something about their faces and their eyes too. There's something about their faces and their eyes that I was not a big fan of. I'll have to watch it again. But I just remember thinking they looked weirder. And I'm not the only one that thought that. And I thought it was the teeth. Maybe there was just a scene in that third movie where one of them smiled or something and showed all their teeth or something. And I remember thinking that looks so weird, or whatever it is. Maybe there was a scene like that, a shot like that. I'm not sure though. I'll have to check it out. I mean, I haven't seen that movie in decades. The third one, maybe even since it came out. Because that's the one where they go back in time, right? Maybe not. Yes, yeah. Frank Riker says, Dave was one of the people that signed the petition to change Sonic's teeth. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. I still haven't seen that movie. I still haven't seen the film. I got to watch that. I still haven't seen it. I played it. I had a Sega. I played, I can't say I was a Sonic fan. I like Sonic the Hedgehog. It came with my Sega Genesis. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came with my Sega Genesis. And I did play it. But I didn't, I can't say that I was a huge fan per se. All right. I don't think any other super chats came in. Just scrolling back. I don't see them. Okay, good. Last one I think was movie chat and more. Just want to make sure that I'm getting it all from you fine folks. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, what's your favorite Carpenter non-horror movie besides Halloween, The Fog, and The Thing? Non-horror movie? Well, Carpenter hasn't done too many non-horror movies. At least, I mean, all his movies have a horror angle to it. I like Big Trouble in Little China, which is kind of sci-fi. They Live, Prince of Darkness, but it's got more of a horror angle. I quite enjoyed In the Mouth of Madness, but again, more horror, I guess. I would say... I'm not going to say Memoirs of an Invisible Man because the movie's not very good. And I'm not going to say that movie just because it's a non-horror movie. I love people do that. You'll ask somebody, so what's your favorite non-Carpenter horror? Well, my favorite non-Carpenter horror movie? And they can't think of one. But then they realize that Memoirs of an Invisible Man with Chevy Chase is not really a horror movie. So they go, oh yeah, that Invisible Man one. Yeah, that was pretty good. It's probably my favorite non-horror Carpenter movie. It's like, it's the only non-horror Carpenter. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course, there's Elvis, of course, the TV movie with Kurt Russell. But it depends on what you mean by horror, right? Like, Escape from New York, Escape from LA, They Live, those aren't really horror movies per se. They're sci-fi films, but they could be lumped into that sci-fi horror kind of angle a bit, they could be. So, but I would say that Big Trouble in Little China is a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun movie. That's a fun movie, I should say. It's a fun movie, I should say. Let me see here. What do we got? Scrolling down. Apollo Balboa, 1985, says, Dave, I know I'm overthinking it, but why did Michael know Laurie was his sister in Halloween 1981, but Loomis didn't? I don't necessarily think that he did. I think it depends on how you look at it, right? I mean, obviously, if you want... Okay, so Loomis is looking at it from a clinical perspective. So Loomis is not... There's nothing mysterious, mystical, supernatural about Dr. Loomis. So Loomis is a doctor. And if you keep information away from Loomis, then he's not going to know about it. Why would he know about it? If Loomis never is privy to information, actual information, concrete, quantifiable, measurable, info, if that info of Laurie being his sister is kept from Loomis, which according to Halloween 2, 1981, it was, then he would never know about it. It's that simple. When it comes to Michael Myers, well, he has the supernatural side to him. There's an element to him, right? So if Michael knew, then that's it, right? How did he know? Right? That's the mysterious, unknown, evil, supernatural element, the instinctual, the mystical, how did he know? Right? That's it's unknowable. But whatever that is, would have, helped into Michael just knowing. He just did. He just knew. He just did. You know what I mean? He didn't need information. So now I know if you watch the TV cut of Halloween, obviously, it could be interpreted that when Loomis walks into the room and sees sister written on the door or the wall, whatever it is, that he's talking about Laurie Strode. I guess it could be perceived that way, but it could also be interpreted as that he wrote sister on the wall because of his sister Judith. I mean, we don't know for sure, but the TV versions of both movies are not officially canon anyway. So that doesn't mean you can't go back and take certain things from there to make them canon, but they're not officially canon. They were created after the fact to fill time for network television. So they're almost alternate reality things, alternate versions. I mean, for me, the theatrical cut, the cut that you can get every time you go to the store to buy, it doesn't mean that the TV versions don't exist. On VHS, you could also get it. I believe the TV versions also came in the Blu-ray package of Halloween. But they're separate versions. If I was to go to the store and just buy Halloween, it would be the theatrical cut. The cut that they show on TV is the theatrical cut. That is the movie, right? That is the film. So they're just kind of cool stuff. Like, oh, here's the network TV version where we had to do this, or whatever. But that's how I see it. But that's what I think it is. Yeah. So you just look at it from 2%. Are you overthinking it? Yes. But I mean, if you want an answer, that's my answer. Darren Sands from the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. Yes, ladies and germs. Again, Frank Riker, Darren Sands of the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, or TSL, as they are called. Guys, feel free to drop your YouTube link into the chat room. If you're not following Frank and Darren over on the Slaughtered Lamb, please do. They talk about awesome stuff, movies. They have great chemistry, great camaraderie. They're a lot of fun to listen to. I guest on their shows sometimes, and it's great. So if you're not following them, please do follow them. And I would be saying that even if they weren't mods on my channel. Sincerely, I mean that. I know you're just saying that. No. Listen, if I didn't think they were great, I would just be like, oh, that's great that you guys did that, and I just would never mention it again. I am mentioning it because they do good shit. It's awesome. I have a ball listening to them talk back and forth and laugh and joke, and it's my kind of style. So feel free to check it out if you haven't already. The Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, wherever podcasts are downloaded, but also they have a YouTube channel as well. So and there it is right there. There is the Slaughtered Lamb, the TSL YouTube channel. Head over there, subscribe to them if you have not already done so. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Scrolling back. New York sports fan. I'm assuming that's New York. NY usually means New York. Hey, Dave. Sorry if you've answered this already, but any updates with your role as Freddy in Dylan's New Nightmare? No immediate updates yet. I mean, Cecil is still running a second Indiegogo campaign, trying to raise the extra cash that he was unable to raise during the first campaign. I know that myself and Cecil, I know that myself, Cecil, and Miko are going to be doing a watch party on my channel here very soon with New Nightmare. So myself, Cecil, and Miko will be watching that. And yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I know there's rumblings about going to camera in the fall, but you know, with the Delta variant on the rise and things rising, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it'll be the fall or maybe early next year. I'm not really sure. The good news is about shooting Dylan's New Nightmare is they're going to be shooting it in Phoenix. Well, Phoenix gets warm weather year round. So whether they want to shoot in the fall or January or February, which would be the heart of winter here, they can shoot at any time of year, really, at the end of the day. So that definitely bodes in their favor for sure. They don't have to worry, shit, our script doesn't call for winter and now we're in winter. You know what I mean? They don't have to worry about that. So that's a positive. So no immediate plans. I mean, Cecil obviously would be the person to reach out to and find out about that. It's still happening as far as I know, of course. We're just trying to get our ducks in a row and get this second campaign over with, see where we're at and see what the climate is for this film. I know in Arizona, I believe the cases are beginning to rise again. And it's like, oh God, here we go. And they're beginning to rise here too. It's like, oh, here we go. Like it's a crazy time right now. It's a fucking crazy time. Darren says, don't get confused with the slaughtered Wang. That's a different thing entirely. The slaughtered Wang, ladies and gentlemen, is a different thing entirely. Just so you know, just remember that. Just remember that. Okay, what else we got here? Only got, just got a few more minutes, folks. What the hell? We'll take this thing to 1:30. Another 15 minutes left in the show. I do have some time to do it, so why not? Let's do it. Spidey Skater Boy. Spidey Skater Boy. I think that's how you say that. It says, hey, Dave. So I gotta ask. If you could reinvent or continue any horror franchise, not including Halloween and Black Christmas, which would you take a stab at? Love you and your chat and your content, man. Well, thank you, Spidey Skater Boy. Franchise. I would probably A Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, I mean, if I wasn't playing Freddy in Dylan's New Nightmare and there was no such thing as Dylan's New Nightmare, I would probably want to take a stab at that. Yeah, Freddy. Make Freddy scary again, I think would be a fun thing to do. So I'm going to say that. A Nightmare on Elm Street, for sure. I think is what I would do. Dave Bob Petway says, when Loomis sees sister written on the wall immediately after, he says, I know where he's headed, which to me means he was talking about Judith. There you go. Well, I mean, but then somebody could come back and say, well, according to Dr. Loomis, because he's not privy to the information yet, right? But maybe Myers still meant Laurie Strode. So there's a double meaning there. For Myers, it was Laurie Strode. For Loomis, he picked it up on meaning Judith. You know what I mean? Like somebody could come back and say that. But it was solely shot. I mean, that was written there. That was to make sense of Halloween 2. Really, at the end of the day, that's what that was, is just to help make sense of that. I mean, there's some good stuff that comes from that extra TV shit. There's some good shit in there. There really is. One of my favorite Dr. Loomis lines of all time is, I guess, not even officially canon. You think you fooled them, haven't you, Michael? But not me. It's a great fucking line. It's a great line. But yeah, I mean, to me, it was you could see it both ways. But Loomis, yeah, if he wasn't privy to the information, there's no way that he would have known. No way he would have known. Dean Renner sends in $4.99. Thank you, Dean. Says, with Blumfest coming up, what do you expect they show us from Kills next? A new trailer or possibly a short clip? When is Blumfest? This fall? Yeah, I think it'll be something like that. I think depending on when it is, it'll be something like that. Yeah, it'll be something like that. Maybe an announcement for Halloween Ends. As of right now, as far as I know, Halloween Ends starts shooting early next year, so maybe January. So maybe some Halloween Ends news, maybe. But I in terms of overall, I look for the typical onslaught of Blumhouse. I think they're going to talk more about The Exorcist and that sort of that vibe, that news, basically. I think they're going to talk about that and just talk about their slate of movies, their slate of Blumhouse production films. And Halloween Kills will be in there. Maybe a new spot, maybe a clip. Yeah, I could see it being a clip. When is it though? Like, how close is it? How close are we to the release? When is Blumfest? October 1st. Okay, so you're 2 weeks out. Yeah. Yep, for sure. I think they'll show something from Kills. Probably a spot or a clip. Yep, and then that clip will make its way up online, because you're only essentially 2 weeks out at that point. So I could see that. That's what I expect. Yeah, a clip or a spot, a clip maybe. Yeah. I think if you were going to get another trailer, well, maybe. I think you get it before then, but maybe. Yeah, you'll get something. You'll get something for sure. Chips with dip. Says, Dave, what if Dr. Loomis called in sick in 78 movie and never went to Smith's Grove to pick Michael up? What would have happened? I don't know. If Dr. Loomis called in sick and never went there, I guess Michael would have just remained there. He would have been just walking around the yard. Maybe he would have ran off into the bushes nude. Started peeing all over the place. Shitting. Maybe somebody would have picked him up. Maybe he would have ran out to the street. Hitchhiked. Oh boy. Let's see. Let me see here. Trying to, let me see here. Okay, there we go. All right. Scrolling down. Lady Claire says, Stacey Nelkin plays Ellie in Season of the Witch. Oh, that's right. You are supposed to be the Halloween expert here. You should be familiar with this lady's name. I'm disappointed and shocked. Well, I'm very sorry to disappoint you. So sorry about that, lady. Let's see here. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, do you think about Charles Cyphers returning to Halloween Kills as Brackett And also, are you going to watch the Chucky TV series? What will be your reaction? Well, I don't know what my reaction will be, Chester. I haven't seen it yet. Do you think about Charles Cyphers returning to Halloween Kills as Brackett? I don't really think of him that much, no. Frank Riker sends in $5. Says, Dave, I have a feeling that Laurie is becoming too Loomis. They both hunt Michael, but I feel Loomis had a responsibility. With Laurie, it's revenge. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, certainly she is definitely, I don't think she's literally obviously the new Loomis, but I think because she's the OG, she's the one connection to the original film, and she's that person that went through the shit, and she's the one that's going to deliver those Loomis lines and those Loomis-isms, and she is obsessed. You're right, but she's obsessed for a different reason. Loomis was obsessed because he wanted to protect. He wasn't really obsessed, at least in that first movie. Remember, it's only the 78 film that's canon. So despite what Loomis obsessions were in 2 and 4 and 5 and 6, those do not exist. In that first movie, he was wanting to protect. And with Laurie, yeah, I think Laurie's motives are different. She wants revenge. She's out for blood. It's very personal. For Loomis, it wasn't personal. It was clinical. He started to realize, although he did start to realize, that's what was so fascinating about Loomis in that first film, is that here is a man of science. He's a psychiatrist. He's a man of science. And he's talking about, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. People don't realize how the dichotomy of that scene, how ironic it really is that he's talking about that, and that's all you need to know about, like, Loomis spent 8 years trying to reach him. So that tells me he spent 8 years with science, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because he realized what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. That means there was a change in Loomis. And I think everybody around Loomis, his colleagues, his fellow doctors, thought he was fucking crazy. Probably thought he was, because they're all men and women of science. And, it's like, he's not evil, and yes, he is, he's evil. He was doing very well last night. Maybe someone around here gave me lessons, and I'm telling you, Michael Myers is here in this town. Of course, that's part 4, or part 5. Was that part 4? No, that's part 4, I think. Part 4? Yeah, it's part 4. But what's so fascinating is he's struggling, right? He's struggling. So he wants to protect the town. But there's nothing personal there, Michael Myers didn't wrong Loomis in some way. He's still looking at it through the scientific lens, and wanting to warn the town, I'm being serious. This is crazy. We got, you know what I mean? Laurie is pure revenge. Laurie is out for blood. Loomis wasn't out for blood. Again, just that first movie. Just the first movie. Let me see here. Going back. Simon says, I don't think we need to see any more clips of images from Halloween Kills. We've seen so much already. I could not agree more. Lady Claire says, yay! Finally, my job is done. Your job? You mean at work? You're at work? Maybe you're at work and your job is done. I'm not sure what you mean. Warren Armour says, Loomis got an RV and retired. Much needed. Yeah, I think he did too. I think he got an RV and he retired. I could not agree more. Reese Wilson says, I'll have to rent it on YouTube if that wins and I want to put it myself through. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Talking about something Critters, maybe? Maybe it's Critters. Maybe that's what you're talking about. I'm not really sure. Let's see here. Just 5 more minutes left in the show. The Horror Counselor says, Dave, as someone who's read the leaked script, would you say, you guys are funny, would you say there are any mind-blowing aspects to the movie that will possibly shock fans or even reveal something that would, I'm not going to say anything. You kidding? I'm not saying anything. Nice try there, buddy. Let's see here. Frank Riker says, for the sexy MFers in the chat, thank you very much, Frank. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Lady Claire says, no, I mean getting you to know who Stacey Nelkin was, silly. Well, but I knew who she was. I just forgotten who. Like, it's not like I didn't know who she was. I just forgot who she was. But if that was your goal, then I guess your goal was achieved. Your goal was achieved. You can sleep well tonight. You can sleep well tonight. Let me see here. Cody Snyder says, they're all greats, though. It's so hard to huge Cronenberg fan, but teen. Oh, you guys are talking about the Patreon thing. Yes, Saturday movie night. The poll on Patreon. That's what you're talking about. I see. Okay. Fair enough. Let me see here. How many avocados would I say I eat a week? None. Although I do love avocados, though. There is always room for avocados, ladies and gentlemen. Always room for avocados. Always room. Vanderhoff 66 FU says, hey Dave, any idea when we'll get It's Me Billy? Sorry, any idea when we'll get It's Me Billy? It's our Meet Billy Blu-ray. It's our Meet Billy Blu-ray? I'm not sure what you mean there. You're talking about the Blu-rays. Well, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. Like I've said before, it's a process. We just heard back from our vendor late last night, who gave us the dimensions for the design for the actual disc and for the cover and everything. So we are in the process of creating that now. That's what we're doing. So it's not coming next week. It's not coming next month. It's a process, and we really appreciate your patience for that. However, as you can see behind me, I have all these boxes. I have boxes galore. What we are going to start shipping out before the Blu-rays, of course, are t-shirts, hoodies, posters, all that kind of stuff. We're going to start shipping those out very, very soon. We're just accumulating everything we need, and then Bruce is going to come over on like a weekend or something, and we're going to sit down and we're going to start packaging all up and start shipping a lot of this stuff off. But it's a process. So like I said, what I mean by a process is people have to understand that it's just the two of us. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Anyway, it's just myself and Bruce, right? So we are, if we had a team, obviously we might be able to get things out sooner, but it's just the two of us. So we are doing the ordering. We are doing the packaging. We are doing the shipping. We are doing the designing. So we really appreciate your patience, but I don't have an exact date of when you would get the Blu-ray. Hopefully maybe even for maybe before Christmas, maybe even for Christmas. I don't know. Probably before then, but I don't know. We'll see. But definitely it's a process. We haven't forgotten about you guys. We are keeping you guys updated. We did deliver, and by the way, we did deliver the digital download perk. So if you are somebody that has not received and you did pick, and don't try to fake it, because I can tell who got it and who didn't. So don't pretend like you got it and you didn't, because I have all your names. If you did pick up the digital download perk and you did not receive it, because there were some emails that bounced back, and I put an email out to everybody saying, hey, your email bounced back, or I got something and whatever. And there's about 4 or 5 people that probably are entitled to it that have not gotten it yet. So let me know, because we did fulfill that. We fulfilled that perk, the digital download perk, which is a digital copy of the movie in HD, an official high resolution of the poster, and an official copy of the script. So if you have not received it, let me know. And like I said, don't fake it. Don't double dip. I'll be able to tell. But yes, it's a process. So appreciate your patience. David Coe sends in $4.99 and says, what's the next hate mail video coming after completely messing up the trailer release date? What's the next hate mail video coming after completely messing up the trailer? Are you saying I didn't? Oh, I think you're kind of, I see what you're saying in terms of the hate mail that I received for that. Yeah, no, I didn't mess up the trailer release date, just so people know. The trailer was going to release July 1st. It only released early because it was leaked. And even Jamie Lee Curtis confirmed that. So, but I did receive quite a few messages from people trying to say, you see, told you it was going to release on Friday. Yeah, no, it wasn't going to release on Friday. It wasn't. You had it wrong. Everybody who said it was going to release that Friday, like, it only released on that Friday because of a technicality. So if you want to run around saying, I was right because you said it was going to, and well, okay. But you, in order for people's predictions to have been right, you would have also had to predict the technicality. I believe that the trailer is going to be released this Friday because of a leak. Well, then you would have been right. But you can't just say I was right. No. That's not how that shit works, folks. That's not how that shit works. But I did receive quite a few messages from people trying to say that. And it's kind of like, yeah, no, that's not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't have it. I don't know. I'd have to reach out to my assistant and ask her if she can compile another list. It's funny. Ever since that first hate mail video I did in like 2018 or whenever it was, I would have thought that this would have blown the doors open to legitimate hate mail and fake hate mail. And you know what? It hasn't. I get less hate mail today than I ever have. Ever since that first video, I don't know if people were like, oh my God, he's actually going to, but it's not like I don't read the names. So but it's weird. For whatever reason, it didn't blow up like I thought it was going to, which is actually kind of good at the end of the day. As fun as they are to talk about. Let me see here. Hans Gruber says, Dave, I ordered every perk at least twice. Now, where's my stuff? I don't know if this is a joke. I assume maybe it's a joke. You ordered every perk. Well, I know you didn't order every perk at least twice. That I know you didn't. But yeah, no, there's a lot of people that just don't understand it, right? There's people that don't understand how this works, and people just, and to be fair, I don't fault them for that because I assume there are a lot of Indiegogo campaigns out there that can't deliver for whatever reason. They don't, but then if they can't deliver, they should be refunding everybody's money. That's what they should be doing. If they can't deliver on the product or they can't deliver on the perks, you need to refund the money. That's what you have to do. But it takes time, right? And people also have to remember that we were and still are, although things are opening up, we were in the middle of a pandemic. So there were certain things we could not order or could not get done because everything was shut down. And people were not delivering certain things depending on the vendor, right? So, now that we're just kind of starting to get back to our feet, we're starting to finally order those things. Like I said, I have for all of you that ordered hoodies, yay, hoodies. There's only about 11 of you that ordered hoodies, but here are your hoodies. They're right here, right? So that just came in last week. And then another box came in just this morning. Yay, the packaging to put your hoodies in. Woohoo, the packaging to put your hoodies in. Amazing. And I got posters and I got like 4 big boxes up over. We're almost ready. We're almost ready to start putting everything in, putting the labels on, putting the customs on, and going up to the post office and shipping it out, which is going to cost a shitload of money too. But just be mindful of that. Like it's a process. But yeah, no, you're right. There are some people that just think it's easy peasy, and it's an Indiegogo campaign. It's not a store. It's not like we have this already in stock. It's we're not Fright Rags. We're not Trick or Treat Studios. It's a fucking Indiegogo campaign. Patience. You will get it. Now, if I was never giving updates and I was like, yeah, whatever, well then that be a problem, you know what I mean? But I always try to handle this with the utmost professionalism and let people know and give you guys updates because, I think that level of transparency is very important because it was your hard-earned money that you donated to help make this a reality. So that's at the very least what we can do is to give you updates, as we move along and as we gain traction. And one of the things I am doing this afternoon is printing off stuff for the campaign. So, we are working on it, folks. We are working on it. The ASE sends in $4.99. Thank you very much. Says, hey, Dave, hope your day is going well. Will you be covering anything from Scream 5 as things start to come out? Are you looking forward to its release? I think I will. I'm not a huge fan of Scream. I did enjoy the first movie. Frank's not a fan of the first movie. I enjoyed the first movie for what it was. I don't particularly think any of the sequels are that good. to be honest with you. I understand the emotional nostalgic attachment. I know that people like 4 better than 3 or, whatever the case is. I don't, for me, Scream works best as a whodunit one-off. I think it's a product of its time. It's a really good sort of, for what it is. I think it's fun. It's fun. It's cheeky. It's fun. It's a little, self-aware, and it's very entertaining. It's a good safe movie as an introduction to horror movies too. It's fun. It's fun. I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy watching that first film. I don't think any of the sequels are really all that great. I don't think 2's really that good. I don't think 3's really that good. I know people love 4. I really don't think 4 is really that good. I'm not saying they're bad movies. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're Halloween 5 or they're Freddy's Dead. I'm not saying they're bad movies. I'm just saying that I don't think they're all, I think they pale in comparison. So with Scream 5, again, what makes me interested is the nostalgia, is the emotional connection to the first movie, and, what are they going to do? And, you got the gang back together again, and, but I'm not a Scream channel and I'm not a Scream diehard, but I will talk about it. Once that first trailer comes out, I'll talk about it. I'll do a video on it. Absolutely. And if I can find anything interesting to talk about in regards to Scream, I'll talk about it, because I know it does have a huge built-in fan base, and I know there are a lot of people out there that watch me that love it, but I won't be talking about it as much as I talk about Halloween, but I'll definitely talk about it. Frank Greiger sends in another one, says, for the sexy MFer hosting this channel. Oh, for me. Well, thank you very much, Frank. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It means a lot, Frank. I will take that $5 and go buy half a Starbucks coffee. No, I'm kidding. I don't drink coffee. I just was making a joke because Starbucks coffee is so expensive. So I hear. Reese Wilson sends in $5.99, says, for the Hawaii holiday. Oh, my God, dude, there have been some people that have been like, no, you just fucking took that money and fucking ran with it. It's like, no. If Bruce and I took that money and ran with it, you wouldn't have the quality you have with It's Me, Billy. Let's just put it that way. Everything went into the production. Everything. but yes, I will put that $5.99 towards my Hawaii holiday fund. Fund, I should say. Okay, I think, I'm way over. Yes, that is definitely going to do it for me here on this episode of Mcrae Live. This was fun, kind of low key. I talked about Chucky last night with Cody Leach. I talked about Ghostbusters and The Exorcist on Tuesday. So I kind of wanted to make it low key today. There really wasn't anything that there was a few things I could have talked about, but I thought I would do a Q&A, which is always fun. Although I did notice this, although I don't think I could have done a whole show on this. I did notice that, was it Hasbro? I forget who it was, released some Ghostbusters Afterlife toys. And Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, and Winston Zedmore are suited up fucking fighting ghosts in these toys. I stand corrected. Now, I don't know if this is telling anything about the movie and whether we get to see these old fogies suit up and fight some fucking ghosts. But if we do, I stand corrected. I thought we weren't going to see that this was going to be more of a kind of like, they're definitely there. And they come in, at a certain point in the movie and they offer tips and tricks and maybe they get kind of involved somehow. But suiting up and fighting ghosts? What? Now, this is just the toy line, but sometimes toys spoil things for the movie. I'm just saying. That has me a little excited. That has me a little kind of like, maybe they come in fucking to save the day. I'll show you how it's done, you fucking nobodies. I'm just saying. I don't know. Ooh, Darren's telling me to shut the fuck up. I'm excited, bitches! I'm gonna have to buy those toys. I gotta buy those toys now. Are they available yet? Are those Hasbro? I think it's Hasbro. Is it Ghostbusters? Are they available yet? Oh, fucking excited, man. Fucking excited. All right. I stand corrected. Have a great rest of your Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe out there, and thank you. Oh, thank you to my great moderators, of course, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, and Chris Baber for doing what you guys do. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all the super chat questions that came in, the non-super chat questions that came in. You guys are amazing. Stay safe out there, and I will talk to you soon. Cheers.